We had a manager named Roxanna. A blonde with bleached hair, she literally bleached her hair with bleach. And then wondered why it was breaking and falling out. Who got her job only because her daddy owned the restaurant. Roxy was obsessed with her appearance and was interested in nothing else. One time, she approached me and my colleague and said that she had gotten a nose job so that her future children wouldn't have to suffer with the same nose as hers. She wasn't joking. My colleague and I exchanged glances and just walked away. Roxanna continued to surprise us with her antics. Every day she came to work in a new outfit that seemed designed solely to attract attention. She could spend an entire paycheck on a single pair of shoes, all the while completely ignoring that there were more important things in our restaurant that needed attention. For example, the menu, which needed updating, or customer complaints that she simply ignored. One day, during another meeting, Roxanna decided that she needed to do something to lift the team's spirits. She suggested organizing a beauty day at the restaurant, where everyone could come in their best outfits and showcase their makeup skills. My colleagues and I exchanged glances, realizing that this could end badly. But Roxanna was full of enthusiasm and left us no choice. On the day of the event, she arrived in a bright pink dress that seemed a bit too tight, and with huge platform shoes. She started giving makeup advice, even though she herself looked like she had just stepped out of a salon. We tried to explain to her that such an event could distract employees from work, but she just shrugged it off, claiming that it would boost team spirit. By the end of the day, we realized that this was not the best idea. Instead of working, many employees were just sitting around discussing how everyone looked. Moreover, several customers complained about the noise and chaos that reigned in the restaurant. Roxanna, seemingly oblivious, continued taking selfies with colleagues. Posting photos on social media with hashtags like #BeautyDay and #TeamSpirit. When we finally managed to get back to work, Roxanna decided it was time to update the menu. She gathered the team to discuss new dishes, but instead of suggesting something original, she began listing her favorite snacks from Instagram. We tried to explain to her that we needed to consider customer preferences and seasonal products, but she just shrugged and said, "That's not as important as how it looks in the photo." Eventually, we decided that something had to be done to stop this absurdity. One of our chefs, Alex, suggested organizing a tasting of new dishes and inviting Roxanna to try them and evaluate them. We hoped this would help her understand that food should be delicious, not just pretty. At the tasting, we presented several new dishes, including a salad with seasonal vegetables and fish baked with lemon and herbs. Roxanna came in her usual outfit, but this time she looked a bit tense. We offered her the first dish, and she finally agreed. However, when she took the first bite, her face changed. She couldn't hide her disappointment. "Where are the bright colors?" she exclaimed, pushing the plate away. "This looks too simple." My colleagues and I exchanged glances and realized that apparently nothing would change. Roxanna insisted that food should not only be tasty, but also visually appealing. She suggested adding more sauces and decorations to elevate the dishes. The next day, she came up with a new idea. Roxanna decided that we needed to create an Instagrammable menu, where each dish would look like a work of art. She began assembling a team to discuss how we could decorate the food by adding edible flowers, bright sauces, and even glitter. My colleagues and I tried to explain to her that this would not only increase costs, but could also scare away our regular customers who preferred simplicity and quality. Unfortunately, Roxanna was adamant. In the end, she insisted that we release a new menu that reflected her vision. When we presented it to customers, the reaction was mixed. Some were thrilled by the novelty, but most remained dissatisfied. They complained that the dishes had become too complicated and difficult to perceive. The situation reached its peak when one customer, a regular visitor to our restaurant, came in a rage. He was unhappy that his favorite dish had disappeared from the menu. Roxanna tried to explain to him that this was a new approach to cuisine, but he wasn't interested in listening. Ultimately, he left, leaving a negative review online. After this incident, our chef Alex called a meeting with Roxanna to discuss the situation. He was ready to voice his thoughts and suggest alternative solutions that could help us return to previous success. However, Roxanna, it seemed, was not willing to listen to his opinion. She continued to insist on her point, claiming that times are changing, and we must keep up with them. Meanwhile, the team began to lose motivation. We felt that our efforts were unappreciated and that Roxanna didn't care about our opinions. At some point, we decided it was time to take action. We began discussing the possibility of creating a petition to express our dissatisfaction. We understood that this could lead to conflict, but we felt it was the only way to get our thoughts across to her. When we prepared the petition, we were surprised that many colleagues supported us. In the end, we decided that we needed to meet with Roxanna and discuss the situation openly. We gathered all our thoughts and decided that it was important to speak honestly and constructively. At the meeting, we explained that the changes to the menu not only failed to satisfy our customers, but also caused a loss of interest in the restaurant. We suggested bringing back some old dishes and focusing on quality rather than appearance. Roxanna listened to us, but unfortunately, her reaction was predictable. She again began talking about how important it was to follow trends and how this would help attract new customers. After that, we realized that nothing would change unless we took measures. We decided to approach the restaurant owner, Roxanna's father, to convey our concerns. We gathered all customer feedback and prepared a report on the situation in the restaurant. This was our last chance. When we met with the owner, he was surprised that we had come with such a request. We explained that Roxanna, although a good manager, was not considering the opinions of the team and customers. He listened to us and promised that he would talk to his daughter. A few days later, Roxanna gathered the team and announced that she and her father had decided to bring back some old dishes to the menu. My colleagues and I breathed a sigh of relief, but understood that this was only a temporary solution. We needed to continue working on improving the atmosphere in the restaurant and ensuring that our voices were heard. Since then, we began to participate more actively in menu discussions and suggest our ideas. Roxanna, although not always agreeing, became more open to our suggestions. Gradually, we began to restore customer trust, and the restaurant started to regain its popularity. However, despite all the changes, Roxanna remained herself. She was still obsessed with her appearance and continued to make strange statements. One day she shared with us that she was planning to get a tattoo on her forehead to look more creative. My colleagues and I exchanged glances and realized that, apparently, Roxanna would never change. But at least we had learned to work together and find compromises despite her foolish actions.